All right, so welcome to our live instructional webinars designed to support the Memory Book Online Yearbook program. Today we will be focusing on functions that relate to building, activity, or candid pages. Specifically, we will be reviewing page bleeds and margins. We're going to go over the toolbar, design functions, how to quickly kind of build a page using our templates, um, switching in to maybe some pieces that fit in called click and go templates, how to make a custom template, and going over how to apply theme art to your pages. So like I said, approximately this could go about 45 minutes or a little longer. So we're going to get going. The first thing that we're going to cover when we're talking about our page or our layout here are bleeds and margins. Now, when we talk about bleed in terms of printing, all that bleed means is having full color, or it's essentially full color that extends beyond the edge of the page. And why that is important, and when you're looking at our program here, this outer gray area, and if I take this shape and I push it out here, so essentially where this goes from full color up to this shaded part, this shaded area here is what's in the bleed area. And this is the part of your page that is estimated to be trimmed off right here. Now, the reason why bleed is important when you're doing your pages, and especially having your backgrounds go all the way out, and usually if you're using the background function in here, it'll automatically send them out to the very edges. But why that's important, having full color all the way to the edge of the page, is when your book goes into production and then your pages, the printed pages, are at the trimmer. When they go to get cut, if they have full color that's extending beyond the trim or the cut line, it just ensures that you have on your finished book full color that extends all the way out to your printed. So and it's not leaving kind of any, if you don't get your backgrounds and all that all the way out here, it's just ensuring that your finished pages don't have any like white edging or any kind of thing unsightly. So that's what bleed is. It's just full color that goes on. And really the only thing you'll want extending out to this bleed in most cases is just your background. Now you can also do candid pages, in which you're using candid images kind of like this, and you're filling it in. You could fill the page, fill the images all across the page, all the way out to the very edges. So that's kind of the two examples where bleed is here. Now, when looking at our page, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. So when looking at our page, we have a few lines, and we have an area here, the blue. So we got our bleed out here that's in the gray. So this is the area that's estimated to be trimmed off. This right here, this red line, this is the estimated trim line. Now with this estimated trim line in actual production, there could be a variance of up to 1/8 inch. Factors that play into that, why this is an estimated, is just when your printed pages are out on the production floor and they go to the trimmer, some factors that can play into that is just how well the actual trimming machine is operating. It could be whoever the operator is that day. Could be a combination of both. So that's why here's the estimated trim line, and just that they're in actual production here could be up to an 1/8 inch variance. Moving down more inside the page, you'll see this blue area here that has the grid lines. Now this is our inside page margins. This is your safe area. So any photos and text that are within the blue, the margin line, this is your safe area. So anything that's inside here is not at risk of being trimmed in the final production. And that even goes to where we're looking more towards the inside. If you're keeping it inside the margin, you don't have anything that's falling into what we refer to as the gutter. And that's basically this is right here is the binding area of your book. So as long as you're keeping stuff within the margins, nothing's at risk of being trimmed, and also nothing's being at risk of being lost in the middle of the book. So I just wanted to kind of clear those things up here while you're working on your pages, what you're seeing. So bleed, little gray area here, trim line and your inside margin, your safe area. Now when you're building pages, things to kind of look out for bleed, especially if you're doing like a candid page where you're tossing on photos to fill up a page, because you don't have to start with a template. If you're just doing a fun page, you just want to have it just a whole bunch of photos, toss them on, size them to your liking, but then kind of watch where you're placing some of these. So with the photo that we have here of these two students, you can kind of see that there's not a whole bunch of room here at the top of the photo. If we were to take like one of these photos and push it all the way out, we then see that this kiddo's head is right in the trim area, so it's taking away more. So a photo like this, though, would play better either at the bottom of the page because there's not anything too critical down here below. It could go towards the binding side because nothing, everything's still inside the margin here. It's just open space. Same if this were on the other side, open space here that not at risk of being trimmed off or anything like that. Or I mean, there's nothing important being trimmed off here in this open space. So if I push this one all the way out, you can see that here's what's getting trimmed. This kid is mainly in the majority within the margins, so he's really safe. So just want to keep that in mind when if you are doing such a page, kind of take a look at where those photos might play best. See where your open space is or area that allowed to be trimmed. Just be careful with images that are kind of cropped real close to someone's the top of their head, just so when you get them out to the margin, because with that 1/8 inch variance that's here, I'm going to grab we click and grab here in the ruler and drag down. We drag down a ruler guide. So I'm just going to estimate if it falls short, and if it, let's say the trimming falls short by a little bit, and that's that variance. So that would take even more of the student's head off in the page. So just if you're building a candid page full of photos, just keep in mind which ones you're pushing out to the edge. Make sure that when you're, putting areas that you don't mind being trimmed off out to those bleed areas, should have a nice looking page. But just wanted to point that out there. Just kind of, if you're building one, just kind of check your photos, see what works best. So on the overall designer, we're just going to go over some toolbar basics so you can get a layout of the land here, and then we'll go on from there. So I'm actually going to zoom in on my browser just a little bit. And bring that down a little bit here. Okay. So just going across the top toolbar, what I have here, so going under File, Edit, View, and Arrange are our 4 main drop-down menus here. Under File, here's where you're going to have your options for Save as Template, Save as Practice Page. Now this save right here, the normal save, also is a quick action that's right here, and it's this older, kind of looks like an old 3.5 floppy disk image here. So this is your quick way. So these two are the same. This is just the quick way of getting to it. Also down under here we have View PDF. View PDF is how you will proof your pages. This is also a shortcut in the form of this little printer icon that's up here on the top toolbar. Moving over to Edit, we have our Undo and Redo. We also have short or quick actions for those as well. We have our standard Cut, Copy, Paste, and Delete. And yes, the keyboard shortcuts work here. So, Control-C to copy, Control-V as in Victor to paste. Now, if you're working on a Mac, this will be Command-C and Command-V. Also under the Edit menu is the Change Background menu. We'll be coming back to that a little bit later in our webinar here. But this menu basically allows you to control and work with the different backgrounds here. We also have some spelling options. We have Find and Replace and Spelling. So this is our spell check. Now our spell check is looking, it's not as robust as you'd say, or what you would see in Microsoft Word, or even when you're working with Gmail. It's pretty basic. So, I mean, it's really looking for just misspelled words. One thing it will not pick up on is grammar and usage. So if you use like they, there, and there. So if you misuse one of those, it's not going to correct or catch that out anything. It's really just looking for misspelled words. So go ahead. I mean, the program will want you to run that later when you go to review your pages. Go ahead and run it. It'll catch obvious mistakes there. Still, even with running it, it doesn't hurt to before you send this in, have another set of eyes on it just to help with the kind of the review process. And then moving down, we have the select option here. So just if you have a bunch of items on a page, select all is going to grab everything. Or you can just grab images or text boxes or shapes. If you have anything that's missing or unedited, you'll hit incomplete, and this will find any empty photo boxes and stuff. If you think you might have something locked or you can't find certain locked stuff, locked elements will point that out to you. And we can also find specific colors and fonts here. Moving under view, we have the hide rulers, which I usually always keep these on. Hide page margin, we'll always leave this on just so you know where your safe area is. Grids and guides, so we can hide the grid lines because they're defaulted to be on, but you can hide them from here. You can also toggle the grid lines on and off from down here in the bottom right. You'll see this little 2-button toggle. And the bottom toggle here, if we click this, grids off, grids on. So just a couple different ways to get to that. We have hide guides and lock guides. So again, guides can be brought onto a page if you click and hold in your rulers. So if you want to toss some guides on the page to help with alignment, or maybe you only want certain stuff below. So these will just bring down the horizontal guides, and from the side ruler, this is just bringing over the vertical guides here. And then if we want to get rid of those, we can go and we can clear all the guides, or just the row guides, or just column guides. Clear all those off. We also have zooming, zoom in, zoom out on your page, and that's what I was using over here in the upper right. So you got a little plus and minus here, zoom in, zoom out. You can also have a drop down here that, if you want to hit fit to page, where it fits it right in the window you're working with, or you can choose different percentages to work at. Down below, we have facing pages and single page. So your pages default to show a single page, or a page spread here, facing pages. If you want to switch that over to single page, just hit that. Sure, we're going to save my changes, and I'll just bring it to one page. Where switching to a single page may be beneficial. So if you are the loan advisor that is working on a book, you'll probably always keep it up facing pages. If you have a student that is assigned, if you've assigned a student to a page or a spread, and they have the whole spread, they're probably good to keep it at facing pages. Now, however, let's say that you have, you've gone through and maybe you come to a spread where you have one student assigned to the left page and then a different student assigned to the right page. What you'll want to have them do there is have both of those students that are assigned to the same spread, but just different pages, have them both switch to a single page. And this is going to help reduce save errors. Just because if they both have the facing pages open, whoever goes to save first basically claims the page, and their changes will save. And then the person that goes to save second, they're usually asked to save their progress as a template that can be applied at a later time. So just to avoid any confusion or that, if you have two different people assigned to the same spread, have both of them switch up to a single page, and that way they shouldn't have any save errors, because then they're just focusing there on their page and it'll only save the changes on that one. So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. Under Arrange, this is where we have our lock and unlock. So here, I'm going to bring that over so we can lock. This is also a shortcut here on this bar right here that pops up. So we have a little lock icon here. We can lock something, unlock it. And there we go. Okay. So also in Arrange, we have some group and ungroup. So I'm going to highlight all three of these. So if you want to group stuff together, you can group it. Go back to Arrange, you can ungroup it. But this is also an option that we have, shortcut options that are up here. So if we have items highlighted that we want to group together, we can group them here. And then we also have our ungroup options up here as well. Then if we want to do some alignment, so aligning horizontally, this is going to be for your columns, actually, left, center, and right. So let me kind of stick these up here in a column way. I'm going to highlight these three real quick. And under Arrange, so we could do Align Left, and that's going to pull everything to the object that is furthermost to the left. That would be our square. Let me bring everything back out here, highlight it. Arrange horizontally right, just going to bring everything this way. Same kind of with your rows here. So we can align vertically, top, middle, bottom. So if we just hit top, for example, brings everything up to these. Now these same arrangement items, if I highlight these again, can also be found on this Arrange drop-down that is in the toolbar that pops up above the page. So then we can hit this Arrange drop-down, and we have down here, again, align left, center, and right are going to be for columns. Top, middle, and bottom are going to be for rows. So I'll just bring that back down. So just a couple of different areas where you can use those alignment tools that are here. And all right, so going through those, we have our undo. This is our spell check that's kind of grayed out here. If you ever need to navigate around your pages, you can go use those arrows that are right here. You can actually pick a page easily to get to this way. Another way, and I'm going to bring my browser back down just a little bit. And I'll bring it up just a little bit. Okay, so another way you can navigate around, and now we're going to start going down our tabs going down. Pages tab over here will help you navigate just like the page ladder. You can, like I said, this is just one way over here to navigate your pages, but the Pages tab will allow you to kind of go through, see what other pages that you have, and quickly click on one of those and jump onto and start working on one of those. Designs, coming down, this is going to be where we're going to find all of our pre-made templates. So for this one, we're going to go under Page Surfer, and we're going to go under Candids here. So all different sorts of templates that are in here. Now, when building candid activity pages, let me go back down here. So under Page Surfer, there's a whole bunch. Now, there's candids, clubs and organizations, gallery, openings and dividers, sports, and this. All of these are full page candid and activity templates. Now the ones that are in the actual candids folder, these are kind of basically the more or templates of simple design. There's not much going on with them other than most are just mainly photo boxes, and some may have some headlines. So these are the more basic ones here just to kind of use. And then they get more advanced on the other categories that are here. So to apply a template, all you have to do is just drag and drop one over to the page. I'm going to go ahead. A lot of times you're going to get this retain existing content message. So if you're wanting to completely overwrite everything that's on a page, you're going to go ahead and hit no. And that's just going to load in your template that is here. Templates are a great way to just get a basic page going. So if I drag and drop another one over, you see some are just some simple photo boxes that are here that you can use. Some will even come with, some of them even have backgrounds, or they have a headline that is here that you can use. All different sorts and different styles. So this one has just a little bit different heading on it. Okay. Now, templates are a great way to start. They'll even drop photo boxes and stuff here on the page for you. Let me try to find one that I can adjust a little bit here. All right, let me drop this one on. Okay, so we're going to take this template here, and there we go. Next tab down over on the left, here's your images tab. So this is where you're going to find your images there that you've already uploaded. Now, when bringing them over, you're going to see a couple different things here. So when you bring an image over a text box or over a photo box here, so you're going to see one or two things. If it highlights green, that means that your image is large enough and high enough resolution to fill that spot. If we bring it over a photo box and it goes red, it has some red shading to it. If it goes like this, that means that the photo is not large enough for that spot. And it will not fill this space. Now, if I happen to let go of this image, and so it'll still place here on the page. It's just placing, the program's going to place it in a new photo box that is going over this box right here. So from here, you can then kind of grab and stretch the image to its fullest. So we can see that this photo could have probably, nope, it falls short on the width and height. So it fell short there. Now, some things about our templates is any template that comes onto a page, no one part of it is anything that's set in stone. So if we have, maybe you wanted a few more boxes like this up here, or maybe you wanted to add maybe a text box as some part of a little class story or something like that. I can bring this over. I can adjust the size of this box. If I wanted to make it smaller, do something like that. I can also copy and paste. So then I can bring more boxes over. If I come down to the text tab here, let's say I want to add a text box that's over here. I'll come down to the text tab. Now your text, when you're looking at this, your account will start with what we call our styles. So your account will start with 5 default styles. You'll see body, copy, caption, headline, subheadline, tag. Now what these are is when you bring style over, you're just basically adding a text box that is starting in just like a predetermined style and size. Any one of these, though, once you bring them over, once they're on the page, you're then free to change those up to any other, font that you have added to your font collection, size that you may want that to be, or color. So the style is basically just a starting point. You can use it as is, or, from there, once you have it on a page, adjust your box. You can make your font larger. Maybe we want to, maybe we want to have more of like a story box or something over here for our class story or something like that. Not a lot of people do that, but just to be creative, we'll put one here now. So we got our text box here. So if we want to put a little something about this is our class, this is, anything like that. I'm going to add a few more boxes up here. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm going to copy this one up. There we go. And I tell you what, I'll make that box just a little bit taller. There we go. Okay. And let's say that, we didn't really want this heading that's up here. So I'm going to clear this off. Now, another thing I'm going to show you here, you can add a text box up here, make a big heading, stretch it across. Some other things that are in the program here that you can check out if we go back under the Designs tab. And we're going to go down into Click and Go. Now, specifically in cover what Click and Go templates are not full page templates. They are smaller groupings that can be added in to your page. So there's cover to cover. It just kind of will show you what some of these are. I'm actually going to go down into the headline here. So we have a couple of different styles here. You see a headline or a Click and Go that you'd like to use, drag and drop that over to the page. So there we go. That's kind of a neat one that's there. And tell you what, we're going to bring I'll bring my photo boxes all the way up here. And maybe I'll bring my story down a little bit. And I'm just going to copy and paste another, you know what, let's get rid of it. I'll just copy and paste another big one. Okay. So there I kind of got the other boxes filled in there. We got our heading. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit to show you a little bit more on these Click and Go headings. So when a Click and Go heading comes onto a page, it basically, right now, this is selected. It acts as one full element that is here. Now what we have here, you'll see these little dashed lines. That is what's letting you know this is all grouped together. Now to be able to work on your heading, your Click and Go heading, what you would have to do is go over and first ungroup it. Then once it's ungrouped, then you're able to work with those individual parts. Again, if you don't want a part of something, you can actually just delete it and take it on out. Keep that one in there for a little bit. So if your text, now while I have a few different elements up here just to show you, there is a toolbar that pops up here above the edge, or above the page, but just below the ruler bar. Now, this will change its options depending on what element you have on the page. So if you have a text box selected, this toolbar is going to give you text editing options. If you have a shape that is selected, it's going to give you shape editing options. And if we have a photo selected, you'll have then photo options that are up here. And you'll have more options once there's a photo actually in the box here. Let me just bring one in here real quick. Let me bring one in here that works here. There we go. All right. So with him selected, now I have a few more editing options that are available to advisors. There are Snap Edit is advisor only. But the normal format and effects are available for advisor and staff role logins, such as you want to round a corner, um, make it see-through, make it kind of transparent if you're doing some kind of design idea. If the photo's too dark, you can tint it just a little bit if you want to add some lightness to it. And you'll also find drop shadow and glow under this menu as well. And let's see, we'll go with drop shadow. So the drop shadow makes it and gives it like it has some depth on the page, like it's being lifted off the page a little bit. So that's some of your photo editing options that you could do here. All right, I'm going to clear this photo out here. Let me fit this to a page. Nope. Yep, there we go. Okay. So essentially I started with one of our templates and then I might have modified it to my own liking. Now let's say that I want to, hey, I like this. I want to use this on a few other pages throughout my book. If you build something, you want to have a real consistent theme throughout the book. You want to take your template you created. So if you want to save it, just go up to File. We're going to do Save as Template. You'll then enter a name for your template. And then now depending on if you have, a full spread, or maybe you're on the right page, you'll have your options here to choose from left, right, or both. It's just depending on the type of template that you created. This one's only on the left, so I'm just going to keep it at left page, and I am going to hit save. Okay, now with any of your own saved templates, you're going to find these back under the Designs tab. And from the drop down, we're actually going to go under Custom. And under Custom, you're going to see My Templates. And this is where your template will get saved to here. So here we have the one that we just saved, Candid Page 12.6. Then from here, you'll just drag and drop that to the other pages that you want to use that on. Now, one thing that you may have noticed here is when I brought this template over, it flipped it. So any template that you create on a left page, when you bring it over, it will flip it to mirror it. So if you wanting the same consistent look going through the page or going through the book, what you may have to do is set yourself up two templates, one being for left pages and one being right pages, if you wanted the same, the exact same look going page to page here. But just wanted to show you that. You could take any one of our templates, modify it to what you want it to be, or add to it. Just remember when you're, ready to save it, File, Save as Template. And again, you're going to be finding that under Designs in My Templates. All right, so from here, tell you what, let's drop in some images here real quick, just to drop some in. That one doesn't work. Oh. All right, we're all filled in here now, and all right. All right, so here we have our template. So let's start taking a look at backgrounds. So let's say you've got a page in, you've got the basic core work that's in here. Because that's ideally when building a page, get your template on there, you know, do your base work, get your text, get your photos in. One thing I did want to show everyone real quick on if you're dropping candids in, if you need to make adjustments or crop images, how you will do that. So if you need to crop any image, two different ways. You can either select the image, and then in the toolbar that pops up above, you'll have the little crop symbol. I'll go ahead and click on that. And you'll notice that everything kind of dims around the page, just focusing on that one photo. Another way to activate that is just to double click in the middle of the photo, and it'll bring the crop function up. So from here, when you're in the crop mode, the ghosted area of the photo is what's not going to be seen. You can grab here in the photo box and move it over. So if you need to make adjustments here, if you need to enlarge a photo, just grab the handles, pull it out. But just wanted to show you how you guys would crop photos here. All right. All right, so let's talk backgrounds or go over backgrounds here. So let's say that we've got, you know, a page fully full of pictures. We have all of our type in. Now we're looking at doing some of the finishing touches that we can do. So we're going to go back under the edit menu here real quick, and I'm going to pull up change background. And this is our handy dandy little background menu. When it first comes on, oh, no, it's actually free floating. It just kind of floats around here. You can move it and keep this up while you're working on stuff. So let me show you one thing first. So I'm going to go back over to the Art tab, which is the fourth tab down. And there are backgrounds under here that are under background. These are the generic backgrounds that are in the program. So there are tons here, and tons and tons and tons, and they could probably lend themselves to some of the other themes that are in here. You see one of these image or backgrounds that are in this particular folder. When you bring them over, you just drag and drop, and they fill out the whole page that are here. So you want to see something else, just drag and drop another one over. Now, backgrounds that are in this folder are the only ones that work this way. All other backgrounds that you'll find in the program, they'll need to use the change background menu. So again, these are just simple drag and drop over. There are tons there to work with. Now, back on our change background menu, I'm going to go ahead and remove the one that's there. So using the change background menu, this will help you get to either your own background. So if you find images out there, or maybe there's an image of your school, or if you have some really large images that you want to use as background, maybe you have a picture of the building of the school, maybe you have a long hallway shot, just other kind of different things. You know, if they're large enough, you can upload them and they'll be able to apply as backgrounds. So this is also going to be what you'll use to get to our theme art here in the program. The first item down here on the background menu is background color. So if you're wanting to just go, if let's say you just want to go with a solid color of the page, you can come through here, pick a solid color. be able to go through it that way. So that's how background, just a quick choosing one of those that's here. All right, and let's see, there is a none, or at least I thought there was. There we go, I just hit remove background. Okay, so to get to our theme art, I'm going to hit choose image. And this is going to bring up a window here to where we can navigate. So our theme art is going to be found under clip art. And then we're going to go to by cover. And then once we open up by cover, then we'll see names here of the different cover, name of the folders here correspond with that actual cover. So if you chose abstract, pick abstract here. They'll have the different backgrounds for abstract. I'll just pick one here. So to use one, I'm just going to select it and hit select, and that'll apply our background to the page. So again, to get to our theme art, go under choose image, and from the drop down, make sure you're going under clip art and by cover. And there is just tons and tons of themes here. Now, even if you're not going with, if you went with one cover, and maybe you're wanting to look at different backgrounds, you're not stuck only using the backgrounds that you chose with your cover. Feel free to look through the other categories, see what other backgrounds that are there. You may find something that maybe works or fits in well with your pages that you're working on. They're there, so definitely check these out. There is a lot of good material there. I'm going to keep with abstract. I'm going to keep the background that I have on the page there. Some other things that we have on here, we do have for backgrounds, we have flip horizontal and flip vertical. So if you bring another the same background onto this side, and let's see, which one did I choose here? Chose that one. Okay. So if I want to flip that way I can make it have a symmetrical look here. You could do that. Or if you want to flip it upside down, give it just a little bit something different here. Maybe you want to flip that the other way. Click change image background. Nope. There we go. So you want to flip it the other way here. Not too much that this was something that's kind of newly added, so we haven't really looked at that yet. But for purposes, we're just going to keep it flip and rotate. Then we also have a tint slider. So a lot of times when working on your pages, some of these backgrounds in the program are just really robust with color, where maybe they're kind of overshadowing what's here on the actual page. So if you do have backgrounds that are really robust with color and you want to take some of that out, kind of mute it just a little bit, use the tint slider, and we're going to push that over. Actually, I'm going to get back onto this page here. You can lighten that up a little bit, and we'll kind of notice that with these backgrounds, full color, everything kind of looks lost and in all over the place here. Now if we tint that background just a little bit, so our eye now comes off the background, and now we're back more or less focusing the main importance of the page, and that's the kiddos that you're putting on it. So definitely, there's a lot of good backgrounds out there. Some look better just a little bit tinted, so they, bring the focus back to the students. So here's how we'll do backgrounds. Either, bring over the generic ones from the art tab, or if you're looking for a theme art or your own or solid colors, just remember to go under the edit menu and click on change background to bring this back up. All right. Now as far as, let's see, we got 3:45. So we're doing all right. So I do have one question here that I'll address that coming back to it. Says, where in the yearbook guide will we find written info explaining bleed safe and trim areas? Okay, that's even a good question in itself. I know it's in here, but like I said, I am recording this, so if we have to get back to it that way. I know we did have it at one point. Okay, we might actually just move on from that one. Or at least I'll try to find an answer real quick while I'm here. Oh, page 182. Kind of goes over that at the bottom in those, but under the design and creation tab, you go to page 182. There's a little small photo, explaining the bleed and the trim line and that 1/8 inch variance. So real quick, before we leave off, just one of the last things, we got the background in. Some of the other adding touches that you can do to your photos. So if your photos, selected, we got the toolbar that's up above. What this little option right here is, that starts off as 0. This is stroke. What stroke is a simple little border that can be placed on your images. So if we go down, so the higher the point number, the thicker the border or the stroke will be on the image. So something like 7's really thick there, but if you're wanting to give something like a nice subtle border, 1 or 2 point is usually a really nice kind of simple border that's around there to kind of frame it up a little bit. You can also use this drop down to change the color of that stroke. So I made it green, kind of like this other green. Some other things that you can play around with, and again, this snap edit is advisor only. So if we go under this, it'll load up an image to where, if you want to play, make something black and white, or maybe you want to give it that old-timey look, or you go sepia tone that's there. And there's just different overlays and colorizing options that you can do here and play with. Now I'm just going to turn this one sepia tone here real quick, and I'm going to hit save. Now, when you do your filters and that on your photos, what it's doing is actually making a copy of your photo and putting the mask and all that on the copy. So if you were to go back over to your images and look for that same exact image, you'll then notice that you have the original and then the new version that you could go back to. So just some last little things just to kind of wrap up on here is just showing you the last little editing stuff you can do to give the pages the finishing touches. So this is pretty much what, going over building an activity page. This is really, kind of dragging on a template, how to add your photos in, working with some of the text that's here and then the backgrounds. But right now, I mean, if anyone has time, I have just a few minutes here, so we can open this up to any kind of questions. If you want to put your questions in the chat box, we can go over just about anything that we've covered today. So yeah, if you have any questions, put them there in the chat, and I'll try to address them real quick if you guys have time as well. I can actually unmute everybody, or if you want to go unmute and just ask the question over the webinar, feel free.
I have a question. If your photos are in that replay it where people are uploading them, you have to make folders from there first before you can get any photos, correct? Like you can't just like, because right now I'm looking for images and my photos and they're not there, like the ones that have been uploaded by parents already, just to play around.
Okay, so images that go into replay it. So if you're in as advisor, you'll see them go into that inbox replay it folder.
Mm.
And then from there, you basically, once they're in the replay it, then you're dragging and dropping them into your other activity categories that you've set up.
Okay, so if they're not in those folders yet, they're not going to be able to be seen because right now I'm not seeing it. So I need to
Right.
upload
Right.
or
So if
in.
they're yeah, so if they're sitting here in inbox replay it, this folder is only seen in the library. It's not seen on the images tab. So yeah, if you have images sitting in your inbox replay it, just
Hmm.
sort them out to your activity categories, and then you'll be able to see them from your images tab in the designer.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And also, if I have my ladder loaded from last year, is that more confusing, you think? Is it better to just start over or work with that? Leave that there.
It could go either way. Um, and by I mean by that, like, okay, if you it it just depends on where you want. Like if you were wanting to kind of basically go with the same layout as last year, it's a time saver by loading it. Um,
Hmm.
and if you're a brand new advisor, let's say that you took this over from someone.
Yes,
Uh,
that's it. That's it.
it depends on what your comfort is. Some like to come into it and be like, I'm just going to start from scratch. I'm going to drop new templates in. And then there's some people, if they don't have the comfortability, maybe they're like, you know what, this first year, I'm going to load their layouts from last year just to give me a head start, and going
Okay.
from there. So it's more or less um, your comfortability, really.
Okay. And then just in general, building a page, start new, like build a page, you in like the order should be the template, photos, then the background, and then any touches. That's generally like the order you should go in.
Generally, yeah. No, I mean, let me get back to a page here. Um,
And then you're saving every time you like do anything. Like right now
yes.
I'm just like doing like, oh, like a practice page or build a page. So that's not saving anywhere. That's doing nothing basically,
I
right?
mean, it's saving it under the practice page area, but not on your actual pages here in your page ladder.
Okay. And you can delete pages like former, like from the ladder. Say I don't want like, oh, they did a separation, like it seems like a wasted page in between each grade, and I just want to get rid of it. Just delete it.
That you're not able to do. So you can clear the content off of pages, but you cannot delete the actual pages. So, you know, if you
Okay.
signed up for a 48 page book, those same 48 pages are going to be here. Now, if you have, let's just kind of looking at my ladder here, I've got this open spot right here at page 25. Um, what you could do, and if you're in as advisor,
Hmm.
I'm going to go under create and I can go to page mover. This is where you could move your pages around. Um, by default, you're able to move the 2 page spreads,
Okay.
and that would move those. Or if you come over here to actions, you can do switch to single page view. Now you're grabbing one and you can take that and move that to a different position that you need it in.
Okay. Thank you.
But as far as like building a page, I generally think it's easier going, you know, template, getting your template on there, getting your core material in text and photos, and then kind of finishing up on backgrounds and formatting last. Um,
Okay.
but as
Uh,
far as template and background, you can actually just toss the background on first and then the template.
Hmm.
There's really no wrong way. But
Okay. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. All right. I didn't see really any other questions come up in the chat. Um, any other before we call it an afternoon? Is there anyone else that has any questions?
Is this recorded in some place?
Yes, we are recording this. It'll probably get posted, but a link is going to go out on Friday to this recording.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you. This is very helpful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good evening. I apologize with the mix-up on the time zone. I put a question in the chat, but is there another session that could be attended
We've got
to be
another
able to
one,
dialogue?
3 p.m. on Thursday
Okay.
there.
Okay. I sent an email in response to what was sent today so that I could get another
Okay.
link.
Okay.
Okay.
Haven't had a
Okay.
chance to doing the webinar, but here after the webinar, if we can check out that email and then just pull, get you moved over to the other session.
Okay, please. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I had a quick question. We were building some pages and uploaded the pictures right to, not to a folder, just off to the side as we were building the pages and putting things on. Is there a way to move those pictures? Once I get there, can I leave them there, or can I get rid of them or put them in folders, or do they have to stay there? Or the picture's going to disappear once I move them or take them off of the side of it when it's already on the page. Does that make sense? Oh, he muted me. It's already done.
Is it?
Okay. I kind of thought I'm not sure if they're still with us or not, but if anyone else had this question, um, I'm kind of wondering if they didn't mean that while they're working on a page, they were tossing stuff here in the drag and drop into the category that you have.
Okay, I see that now. Like we have it under the academics column, so that would be in the academics folder then, right? For those pictures, right. Depending on what category title's shown up with.
Go into now. If then wanting to move them to another folder, let's say you didn't want it in academics, but it was a sports photo, and just an example, you'd need to come back under create and go to the image library.
Okay.
And then under activity, where that category would be, and then you would just drag and drop the image over to the. Was that kind of what you were asking on that?
Yeah.
One, or?
It just when I go to that activity page, I'm not seeing any pictures to select and move over. So I'll play around with it and see what I can do.
Oh, going to here?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, make sure you hit that little arrow there, and should expand and show your categories.
Okay. Thank you.
Have on the dot, folks. So I think I'm going to go these demonstrations of the functions, you know, related to the creation of activity pages may help when it comes time to build your yearbook. So using the templates already in the program and building your own templates should save you some time and give your book continuity. So this is actually the last one in this session for now. We will get another session going in January, and that's gonna, at that point, we're gonna add in another topic, which is the final stages, where